comment. And one of the things I had planned, and this was months old, is to really just simply have a comment. Mr. Thomas has started at one point to explain the issue, and I stopped him, and then I rethought and said it's fair to some extent that we speak out. And one of the reasons I'm really saying that I want to speak out, because to so much I've grown really tired of hearing this continuous issue of where we stand in reference to teachers. I don't know a time over the years where this governing board has not supported issues with teachers. I've always worked for those things. Other board members has done the same thing, from the itinerants to the special other areas, the nursings. When there were issues, we all stepped in to raise those issues. Robert Frost said that education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper. So many times I sit and I listen to the CTA president come forth, and somehow over the years I just haven't heard the positive side come forth. I get an opportunity to talk with teachers. Teachers get an opportunity to talk with me. I don't hear this issue of where there is morale, we're suffering, we're being hurt. I call it the 11 men syndrome. Those 11 men within the CTA that assume that we are supposed to allow spas and golf tournaments and pay them $450,000 a year rather than have these people perform their duties. And I started by saying, from Robert Frost, he says, whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though, and he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it's queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the road and frozen lakes, the darkened evenings of the year. He gives his harness bell a shake to ask if there's some mistake. The only other sound, the sweep of easy wind and downy flakes. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Mr. Frost had headed on a journey. Tiring, he felt it's time to rest. It's symbolic of the journey my fellow board members and I have traveled the last 2 years. We acted with the vision that our nation, our government, and the institution guarantees every employee and every student that they will be allowed to start at the same point and finish somewhere where their abilities reach their limits regardless of race, sex, religion, or orientation. Our guarantee to our students and our employees comes as a duty for honorable men and women that view discrimination as an illegal and immoral system. We gather to rest only upon an unparalleled opportunity for our urban students to achieve academic success. First was a worn traveler and needed rest. The snow-filled woods as he waited and contemplated the rest of his journey. He described the snow-filled woods. My colleagues and I have waited as the utter cruel bullwhips of lie and bigotry fell upon us in the same way, filling this very boardroom. I recall the snowflakes generated in reference to the double lunch period. Board members and the CTA leadership cried it will destroy our students. The extra 5 minutes of work would overburden our teachers. Yes, the bells of determination tolled, and right-minded, honorable men and women thought it's queer that the governing board did not know that South Mountain had modeled this double lunch period for 10 years already. Clearly their opposition was grossly misguided, because today hundreds of more students get to eat, and thousands of additional dollars have made breakfast at schools for students possible. Yes, they were wrong. No acknowledgments, however. Instead, the CTA leadership adopted a more sinister policy. It endorsed a slogan of racism, bring the rope, and a slogan of violence, don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes. The emails in schools during school hours exploded with these messages. I'm waiting for the CTA leadership to say that was for our students. The snowflakes of hypocrisy could not slow down the right things to do. The darkest hours in the history of the governing board had already passed. We witnessed 3 board members standing in opposition to the board reorganization. An independent report cited it as racially motivated. A comment between 2 of the board members confirmed the opinion of the report. I don't know what's in your heart. You're judged by your words, your actions. These stands on record. It is clear that evening that it was not about a policy or procedure, not of anything legitimate, but a plain gesture of hatefulness that set the stage for destruction and negativity for the next 2 years. The only sound to be heard was of honorable men and women continuing their vote to support in support of our students. We moved our employees to unprecedented salaries, the hiring of new employees. We created funding for healthy foods for students, passed and reviewed budgets to improve our schools and reduce overcrowding. This occurred in spite of behavior of members that was married to disgracefulness and online with insanity. A board independent report characterized their behavior as a more disturbing disruption. The easy wins and downy flakes could not cover the hostility. The leadership of the CTA seized the opportunity to misrepresent facts to gain support of its members. The leadership, in my opinion, is too weak now and then to stand on its own merit. It had lost its precious release time, and the leadership had to cover its failings. The leadership of the CTA misunderstood Mr. Thoreau and Dr. King's view of civil disobedience and acted in a mob-like fashion to disrupt school board meetings. One of their paid representatives put on a foolish distortion of the First Amendment rights, while his 2 state representatives shoveled their fists in the air in some perverted, poor imitation of the Black Power salute and gave us something else to be ashamed of, and enforcing the reality that racism comes without calling and exists only to satisfy the weakened ego of men that see hope as a burning ball and dignity as a mound of fire ants. This disenfranchised members could not stand present and accounted for when the call for governing board meetings sounded. One member missed 18 of 21 meetings in 12 months period. This, by comparison, was more missed meetings than all the governing boards combined in the last 5 years. You care about teachers, you care about students. I ask these members, why don't you just say, I'm present for pay? It is disturbing that we serve for our students and do not love and respect them. I know this to be true. I read a newspaper article where a governing board representative, a state representative, exposed our students to unnecessary scrutiny by singling out their success in such a manner that it may affect their safety and their future. Don't he know, or didn't he know, that our schools don't know anything of undocumented students? We only know that students are registered in school districts. Everything to achieve at the limits of their own ability. No labels, Mr. Representative. You seek praise at all costs. No love, no honor. You discriminate by race and language proficiency, and sir, that is where we stand apart. Where have you been? Too many hours at the county elections and too little time reading Article 15. Someone must stand up only for students and represent them with no funding from special interests, without fear of their 11-member leadership that must now earn the public $450,000 tax money by teaching. No spas on Tuesday, no golf tournaments on Thursday. classroom time, sir, Monday through Friday. We have promises to keep, to work for the best interests of our students, promises to keep, to provide employees the greatest opportunity for success, stand up 100% for the students and 0% for special interests, and miles to go before we sleep.